sticking in the NFC South, and actually, this is another quarterback that I'm excited for personally. And I know Jack is not going to be, but with CJ Stroud bursting on the scene last year, Anthony Richardson, a lot of hype before he got injured, 6 rookie quarterbacks this year. It's easy to forget that Bryce Young was the number 1 overall pick heading into year 2 this season in Carolina.
Bozos.
See, that's what everyone's saying.
Bozos. Well, because they are. I mean, everyone's right.
2-15 record, finished very low, if not last, in a lot of major statistical categories. Head coach fired after a 1-10 start, and everyone's down on Bryce Young. But not me. Not me, Jack.
It's because you're a fool.
Well, I think this guy walked into a really difficult situation last year. Like, Adam Thielen was by far the best weapon on the team. Look at the other guys. CJ Stroud, sure, I think he was a huge part in Tank Dell and Nico Collins elevating their game. But those guys, they had great seasons. Richardson and Michael Pittman, even the rookies right now, Caleb, Jaden Daniels, McCarthy, they are in great situations. We talked about Drake May in New England and whether or not the Patriots should even draft him because of, or some people said, because of how bad their weapons are. Carolina might have even been worse than what's in New England this current season. So for a kid who's 22 years old, it's not a great environment. Now you add Deontay Johnson, who's a problem for a team, but a great football player. Would you agree with that? Very good football player.
I loved having him, yeah.
Deontay's awesome. Xavier Legette, 6'1", 220, runs a 4.39. Another great weapon there. Jonathan Brooks, the star out of Texas. He's going to be healthier, the running back. Like, you got him now. And all of a sudden, this team has a bit more juice to it. And so does Bryce Young, man, because that dude is looking yoked right now. Look at his picture, Jack, of Bryce Young in practice. Compared to last season, Ziggy, I wish I could show you right now. Compared to last season.
Put it on the screen for the fans.
I'm going to throw it on the screen.
The man's getting in the way.
Last season, week 1 to this season, like, Bryce Young has put on some weight. People are raving about him.
I put on some muscle, too, in the last year. See that, Ziggy?
People are going nuts on Bryce Young. Go ahead, Ziggy.
Well, Paul, I think you missed the biggest addition, actually.
I did. Go for it.
Offensive coordinator, now turned head coach, Dave Canales.
Yes.
And it's easy, I think, to overlook this, but look at the results he's gotten in the past couple seasons. 2022, what was his job? Quarterback coach of the Seahawks. Revitalized Geno Smith's career. 2023, what's his job? Offensive coordinator, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Revitalizes Baker Mayfield's career. Now 2024, he has another job ahead of him, bringing back Bryce Young's career. And honestly, if there's a guy in the NFL who can do it, who's shown that he's really good at taking guys who've been in terrible situations and throwing that all out the window and getting them to start over, it's him.
And he was also the guy with Russell Wilson when Russell Wilson was having his carear seasons in Seattle. Like, he
was the quarterback's coach in Seattle from 2018 to 2021.
Yeah, no, he was working.
Yeah, and we saw once Russell Wilson lost him how bad that went. Geno Smith losing him didn't make him a whole lot better. So for a guy whose job is to come in and basically build Bryce Young from the ground up, it's got to be an exciting addition for the Panthers.
Oh, it's huge.
I mean, I have to abstain here from going back on my take, because right now my initial take is looking fantastic, saying that number 1 pick was such a bust.
Let's say we wiped the take right now. Do you have any confidence?
I don't think he's really no, I don't. I think he's small, and I just don't like him.
No, I mean, look. So far he hasn't been great.
I do believe, and this is coming from somebody who said last season that CJ Stroud was my clear-cut number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if Bryce Young had gone into Houston with Nico Collins and who else do they have?
Tank Dell
and Dalton Brown. CJ Stroud made those guys. I don't think Bryce Young. I think Houston is still a bottom basement dwell, not being talked about with Bryce Young.
No, I think it's fair to think that way. I think Bryce Young was in a crappy situation, and now he's with the head coach who has a real shot of turning him around.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
No, and when you look at Bryce Young's strengths, right? What are his strengths? His strength is accuracy all over the field.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't have a functional offense, and I know people are hopeful Reich would give them a functional offense, but that didn't happen. Like, Bryce Young's strength is that he can be competent day in, day out. But when you have an offense that's that bad with no one around him, you just don't get a chance to showcase that. And that makes him, different than the kinds of quarterbacks we're often seeing being taken early on, right? Guys like Anthony Richardson, like Caleb Williams, who really have that extra bit to add. But if you're asking, can Bryce Young become an above average quarterback? I think he will need to be in a functional offense. But the difference, and you can already see how they're talking about it. When Bryce Young is asking, why are we doing this? He's getting answers that he can understand. Receivers are talking about how Bryce Young is really taking a step up as a leader and is really trying to be involved in shaping the offense so that he can be the best player he can be. That's the kind of stuff you need for Bryce Young to be successful.
Look, if he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong.
I mean, if you listen to Canales talk, like this guy's smart. You listen to his interviews. Kirk Herbstreit was saying that his coaching style is as much about the psyche of a quarterback as anything else. And for Bryce Young, who was, again, bottom of the league in so many categories last season, it's important that you have someone coming in there who is a strong coach, who is someone who's going to work on the mental game for Bryce. And right now, yeah, Ziggy, you said it. Everybody's talking confidently about him. Tommy Tremble came out and he said he's having fun with it. It feels like he's ready to just take off. And I listen to those sorts of things. I know it's that time of the year, but I think that from what you're seeing with everyone, it looks like, and they made additions on the O-line too. They reworked the interior. I'm not saying Carolina's going to be a playoff team or anything, but I think you're going to see a drastically improved Carolina offense for a team that probably still wins 6 or 7 games, but that's a huge improvement from 2-15.
Did Carolina beat Houston last year? They did, right? Didn't Bryce Young beat Stroud head to head?
I think they did. I think that's one of their.
That was their first win, was it? They're like 1-8.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Was that one of them, Ziggy?
I think it was their first.
That was a win.
Okay. Look, I worked with Bryce Young a little bit when he had the Bryce Young podcast as part of my company. Really nice kid, but also you got that vibe, and I thought you saw it a lot in college. Dude's pretty unflappable. We asked him, he had games where he struggled at times, and we would talk about it, and he's just like, yeah, move on to the next one.
He also beat no good teams in college.
No good team?
Yeah.
Maybe Texas on the road right before Texas exploded.
Texas wasn't that good then.
Yeah, but it's Texas on the road.
But like Georgia, LSU, Tennessee. I didn't like him.
He was the one who beat Georgia
when killed by Georgia.
No, not an SEC championship game.
Oh, Georgia wanted Bama so they could beat him in the championship.
Yeah. Okay, and then he took him to the wire without Jameson Williams.
Georgia wanted them in so they could beat him later because they stunk.
No.
That's why
he's the only one who beat Georgia over the course of 2 years.
Georgia let him win that.
I don't want to hear.
They let him win the game. You know that.
Yeah, sure, man. Georgia let him win.
Yeah, because they paced him in the championship game. They wanted them in the playoff.